Sometimes the best way to do an illustration is to use the right brush, and sometimes the right brush is your own brush. So let's look at creating brushes. So here's a quick illustration put together, and this is just using some water brushes. So if I turn that off, there's the example of a sort of brush with a few effects. Now if I take this apart, we just see that it's really simple graphics just chucked together and just let it evolve really. So let's go through and make some brushes. So I'm going to come through here and just show you examples of some brushes, and we're going to just make a few of our own. So to make brushes, you'll see this is just some graphics on a single layer. Now you can copy images from anywhere you want and take them to sort of a black and white sort of format just to work out the tone and the structure that you want, and just plonk them together on the same layer. But use any reference you can and sort of photo bash it if you will. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a new layer here, and I'm going to turn the bottom one off, so we're on this top one here, and let's go and create a brush. And sometimes the best way to create a brush is from brushes you've already got. So let's go through. In this stage I'm going to simply just go through and choose the brush tool here. So I want to make up my own brush, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say click down onto the brushes here and just see what we've got already in place. Now I've got some crazy shapes that I've actually put together, and if I hold it down here we can see how they're coming out, and here's just another one, but I'm just going to make them up just with some brushes. Now just remember, you can bring in any image you want to put together as well, or an image to use as making the brush, but we're going to just make these up from square one. So let's just go back here, make sure I'm on the brush tool, and I'll just use a few standard brushes. So let's see, it's one of my, let's have a look at the brushes down over here. So what you'll see, I've already got some sets in here. Dry, medium brush set, well these are sort of standard ones. Here's a special effects set. Got some squiggle brushes, skin tones, all sorts of things. So we're going to make a new set. So I'm going to make them basic on what we've already got. So just to get a feeling for this. So I'll make this brush, I'm just using my bracket key, right bracket, just to make it nice and big, and I'm just staying in just black and white to get the detail I want. So there's my first brush, there's my second brush here, and let's see what else have I got. I've got a bit of a leaf pattern here, and I'm going to put it through like that. And what I'm also going to do with this graphic is I'm just going to close it just for the time being. I'm going to actually turn that into a halftone as well. Yes, you can do things like that. So just with this brush here, I'm going to, in fact you can use any effects, whatever, to make up your brush as I mentioned, but let's just go and do something a little bit crazy here. So I'm going to just go through and I'm going to go to the filter, and I'm just going to do something quite random, and I'll come down to say pixelate, and I'll just go to halftone, and I want this to be quite big, so I'm going to make it 16. As you go bigger, they get bigger dots, and I'm going to use all my channels. Remember, it's going to be black and white at the end, but let's see what we get. Okay, so a bit of colour in there, but it's kind of the brush that I like. So now to make a brush, I can use the selection tool, any one of them, even with just making a shape like so, just basically so capture. Now if you're going to do a pattern, the only thing you can use to do a pattern is the rectangle tool to make a pattern, otherwise it won't be visible. So when we define it, for example, I'm going to come down and I'm going to define my brush shed here, and you notice that I can't define a pattern because it's just a very strange outline. You need a square to do that, or rectangle. Anyway, define brush shed, I like that, so I'll call it half Tony, that'll be the name of it, and I'm just going to go OK. So you'll notice that half Tony graphic is coming here. I'm just going to deselect it now, but I've got my brush anyway, so just deselect. Basically you can also just go up to select and deselect, Command D or Control D on a PC, but I've got this cool brush that I can paint on here, so I might just make a new layer here and just start painting that up. I can use any color I want here to work with it, and I've got this cool halftone brush. In fact, I can even just reverse it and then just put back some whites. And straight away I'm getting a really cool brush. Now I've only done one brush here, but as you'll see, this has come along here. Now as you start putting them more brushes in, you can make your set, like I've got a splat set here. I'll just go and choose that one. And there's my splat set. Actually I might want a bit more colour in there, and that's using a halftone effect as well, or up to some more crazy type ones, even photographic imagery if you want. Anyway, what we need to do as we start building this set up, I've got my halftoning brush here. I'm going to click a set name and I'll call it tone half, just for naming sake, and I'll go OK. And then all you need to do is just go and drag it onto that, and you've got your brush set. Now, when you're working with brush sets, you can click here. It's just out of view at the moment. In fact, I might just bring this in so we can see that. And just click back on this again. I'll move my graphic in here. When you want to export out a whole set, I'll click on that even though there's one. You just go through here and you can go export brush set, and that'll make up a file, a brush file that you can export, and you can also import brushes. So for example, if I just click back on here, this is what it'll be. It'll be a .abr file. It'll be probably a Photoshop file. I've just got Affinity as well, and it's actually taken on their graphics. But nonetheless, that's going to work great with Photoshop. And here's sort of my brush set in here. So you can bring in and export out. And so we've got our graphics to use any way you should like with your brush sets. And save them out, and hey, you might even want to sell your own brushes. Thanks for watching.